Matt Lenihan, Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Style. Always a pleasure to be joined by Paul Smith. Paul, before we start this, I want to talk about yesterday. We'll touch on this card as well. I know we only called last week, but you're doing a bit of a fast. Everyone's doing this at the minute. Johnny Nelson, so just sort of talk us through the sort of first 24 hours and how it's gone for you.
I need to fast.
You lost them.
I need to wire my jaw shut. No, it's just every now and then I'll do one. It's not. I'm not one of them new age hippies or not. And I think it's great for your body. This is my third 48-hour one. I Callum called me a pussy this morning because he did the 72-hour one for his first one. Stephen did the same as well. It just sort of resets your body. Going into autophagy is good for you. You get rid of a load of dead cells in your body. And I'm no expert on it, but every now and then I'll do one. I eat well, believe it or not. Now I've lost a fair bit of timber what I had on, but it was just shite that I put on after I retired. I'm in no way, shape or form very healthy at all, but every now and then this is the third one I've done in the last probably 18 months. So.
Yeah, I read a lot about it online. I think Dana White made a big thing of it, and I think Johnny Nelson was doing it, and look, good to see, and I know you'll get through it, you've done it before. Let's touch on yesterday. Usyk, Fury, different vibes to the first fight around. I felt like the first time around Tyson was maybe trying to impose himself on him, talk to him a lot. Now they've shared the ring, it seems like it's like, look, we know what this is about. There's a certain respect there that there is after every fight. Usyk came in dressed as the hitman. What did you make of it from what you've seen?
I only seen the pictures, being honest with you. I didn't watch the full press conference. I saw the photos head to head, and I've seen a few clips today on socials from what was said in that. The way I look at it, I saw something with Tyson, personal problems that his missus and that, and if that's the case, that would make a lot of sense as well. But ultimately, what usually happens in rematches and fights like that is probably Usyk again. That's what I can see. I'd love Fury to do it. I like him, and he's one of ours. I saw him walking into the press conference yesterday on a clip, and he's gone over to shake hands with Lee McGregor, and just the respect that he shows through the fighters. He's not as daft as he makes out he is sometimes. He plays a character sometimes, I think, and he's a knowledgeable lad, he's a good lad, he's a nice lad. But Usyk's great as well, and how can you not like Usyk, you know what I mean, and the way he turns up. That's why in them fights, as a boxing fan, if you're not from this country or if you're not really backing Fury, it's a no-lose fight for you, because Usyk's such a nice fella, and what a fighter, and what an athlete he is, and what a person he is, and what he's done for his own country. It's a good fight. It's a very good fight. If Fury's at his very best, then it's a closer fight in my opinion. If he's not at his best, I think it's a repeat of last time, and Usyk might have his number now. But I'm really excited to see it.
One of the big things that he was keen to touch on, obviously, is keeping the same corner team, etc., etc. And they asked him. Everyone was talking about changes, what he needs to do, and he was saying, "Look, I don't need to make a lot of changes." He says, I need to focus in certain moments. He alluded to the hands behind the back, but he's done that against Klitschko, Wilder, everyone. So I don't think that's new. It was just almost the fact that he was alluding to the fact, look, I just need to stay switched on between the rounds 3 and 7. Felt like I had him, kind of thing. Do you see something in him where if he gets him hurt, he hit Usyk with an uppercut, and I didn't see it ringside, but when I watched it back, I thought, wow, like it visibly hurt him, and I think Usyk after the fight was in a really bad way. Do you think if he gets that opportunity again and he catches him with such ferocity, he goes, I have to then step on it? Is it wise to do that in your opinion and say, look, let's get him out of there?
Honestly, I would hate to be Tyson Fury now, and I'd like to be him getting paid after the fight, but I'd hate to be him having to go in and face Usyk after losing to him, knowing that you've got to be at your very, very best when you were the favourite going into the first fight. But that's because a lot of people, and so many people around the world, and who don't necessarily love the boxing, study the boxing, understand the boxing, but like the boxing, you don't realise how good Usyk is. Usyk's an animal. Usyk always has been, and the people who really know the boxing, the people who follow the boxing, or who are in the industry, or who are in the trade, they know exactly what Usyk is, and Fury was on a little bit of a hiding to nothing. If you win, you've beat a cruiserweight. If you lose, you've lost to a cruiserweight, and it's not that. Usyk's unbelievable.
Do you not think now, though, the perception of Usyk as this blown-up cruiserweight, and don't get me wrong, he has come from the lighter weights, but he hasn't come from the lighter weights like we saw Roy Jones do it, and he fought a Ruiz, where you're looking at, right, who of the champions, yeah, whereas he's come in and gone, all right, aside from Witherspoon back in the day,
Dubois, Usyk,
Chisora,
he's beat Chisora, Dubois, Joshua twice,
and then
Fury.
He is He's legitimate. He's legit. So if Tyson does overturn it, I mean, it'd take a very brave man and I think almost a very silly man to say, "Oh, you beat a cruiserweight," wouldn't it?
It would now. It would now. But before it, listen, I was listening to TalkSport on the way in. Don't ask me why. I didn't want to put music on. I had Human League downloaded on my phone from last night from watching Johnny Velocity's videos. My mate Johnny Reynolds, and I was getting a bit bored of Human League, and I thought I'll put the radio on. For what? I don't listen to music in the car. I drive in silence.
Really?
I drive most of the time in silence.
What'd you do?
I just get in my own head and try and get out my own way and just keep in my own head, or I'll have a podcast on now and then, or I listen to a lot of Joe Dispenza and stuff like that. I've got a couple of good audio books that I listen to. I'm a boring old fart now, but my lad's in the car, my thought I can't bore him listening to nothing. And I'm fasting, and the little shit was having a smoothie next to me, and all I could hear was the slurping of the smoothie, so I just put TalkSport on, and I can hear Simon Jordan talking a lot about boxing and Jim White. I think they're both nice fellas, I think they're both good fellas. I can't stand Stephen A. Smith in the States. He's a fucking expert on everything, but he knows nothing about any of it. And he'll talk about American football, NFL, then he'll talk about NBA, then he'll talk about boxing. And listening to his boxing knowledge, I know he hasn't got a clue, doesn't know his ass from his elbow, but he's paid by a network in the States to talk about all this stuff. And then I'm listening to boxing, I'm listening to Simon Jordan, and there's people calling going, "What do you think, Simon?" It's like, Simon Jordan's never boxed. Simon Jordan, I'm not having a go at Simon Jordan. As I said, I've met him once or twice at shows. I've gone out my way to shake his hands. I respect him, and I think he's a nice fella deep down. I think the way he is, he does the job great. He knows a little bit about a lot. Now, I would come unstuck if you ask me a question about football. If it's not Liverpool, I'm not going to be able to give you an answer that I'd be confident giving, because you'd probably see right through me and know I'm talking shite. But there's a lot of people out there who especially with boxing, they have an opinion about it, but it's not educated, or it's not based on much, and it's based on just what they've seen on telly. And I had this conversation with my dentist. I got a root canal yesterday. It was fucking horrible. It was a nightmare. But he was talking to me about boxing, and he's asking questions. I'm like, mate, look, it'd be like me saying to you, "Come in, lad. Let me give you a filling." And I've watched loads of videos on YouTube. I'm gonna now give you a filling. Is that all right with you? You'd be like, "Get the fuck, mate. I want someone experienced who's done the job." Now, it doesn't mean he doesn't know about the industry. It doesn't mean he wouldn't know a lot about dentistry. But if you've never practiced and done the practical element, but you've just done the book side of it and the written side of it, then you're going to be qualified in it. But practicality is different. Now, when you're talking about boxing, they're asking like Simon's opinion. A lot of people's opinion in this country or in the world about boxing is, "Oh, he's a cruiserweight." But if you actually watch the game and study the game, and listen, Simon Jordan, to be fair to him, does. If you watch the sport and watch it properly, you'll know Usyk is the real deal. And I remember Rusamba having a conversation with Rusamba, who's in camp with Usyk a lot. He said, he talks the way he does. He's like, "Bro, I've told him, why wait? Why fuck around with Chisora and other fighters? Just go in for AJ straight away. If you're going to do it, you're going to beat him in the first fight anyway. If you're going to beat him, just do it straight away. Why fight Chisora? Why fight Dubois? Why fight other people? Just go in with AJ first. Go in with the main man." And I think at the time Fury probably wasn't the main man, because I don't think he'd come back yet. Or he was tied in with a fight with Wilder. So that made a lot of sense to me. Why risk losing to someone like Chisora or Dubois when you can jump straight in with AJ and possibly beat him because of how good you are? Usyk is a different animal. He tells me about the mental strength he has. He puts his head in water for 4 minutes at a time just to hold his bet, just to beat himself mentally and get in his own head. And like that's what you're dealing with. This fella wanted to fight on the front line. It wasn't an act with him. You know what I mean? I've heard from Ukrainians, it wasn't an act with him. He was genuinely serious, and Zelensky told him to go and box again.
Just to touch on that, in Poland he was presented with, I can't remember if it was a shield, plaque, something that I believe, I don't want to get this wrong because I'm just doing it off memory, but if I do, I'm sure you'll all fucking tell me. Yes, on the thing, and they had and he had the signed, he got given a signed thing from the people on the front line or whatever it was.
It was an original piece of memorabilia or something, wasn't it? Or not memorabilia, obviously, because it's war, but it was an original piece of something from. I remember it. I remember him getting it.
And that's incredible. When you look at the boxing side of it, he's obviously he's a man of God as well, as Tyson is, kind of thing. I just think this is setting up to be.
I loved it after the fight. I loved the both of them after the fight. And I don't care what you say. I've been in the ring many times, and everyone I've shared the ring with, whether I like them or not, I respect them massively. And there's people who I don't really like, and there's people who are my friends after retiring and after we fought, but I will always have that respect for them, always. Lads who I've sparred, I've seen them on the street or in camps or at fights, and I've sparred them in camps, and you see them in the street or at fight, and I'll go on my way to say hello to them. I gave you my best one time, you gave me your best, and it's a weird thing with boxers. I loved seeing them both at the end of the fight. They're both men of God. It was nice to see. It really was nice to see, and that's got to all go out the window for this one. And I don't know who will be the best at putting that out the window, if you know what I mean. I don't know who will be the best to not show that respect, because you can't show respect in that fight if you're Fury. You've got to not respect him. And it's not as easy as I make out and others make out, just jump on him. You can't just jump. It's Usyk. No. He'll play with you if you try and jump on him. You've got to be clever. It's got to be educated pressure. You can't let Usyk do his own thing, but you can't also try and maraud him, because he'll play with you and he'll catch you coming in. That's what I mean about being Tyson Fury. Apart from the pay, I'd hate to be Tyson Fury at the moment.
I think that's the sort of opinion that you've mentioned there about maybe people who don't surround themselves in the sport, maybe not in the industry, to see the fights. When it's like when they said to AJ, "Oh, just jump at him, use your big man strength." I mean, do you not think if he could do it?
I was one of them also, and I thought, could he
to a degree though?
Could he have got the tactics better? A lot better, but it's not as easy as just jump on him and you've got him. It's not that easy. It's Usyk. He's unbelievable, and someone like Joshua will be more suited to Usyk than Fury will, in my opinion. Fury is a harder fight for Usyk because of the styles only. That's it, not the size or the power, just because of the styles.
Catterall Prograis, obviously I know you got Steve Clark on. We spoke about him the other day.
Good fight. I heard on the radio this morning they had the betting thing on. Prograis 3-1. I'm not saying he's going to win. I fancy Jack.
3-1.
Prograis 3-1 to win the fight.
Former two-time world champion.
That is, for a betting man, that's unbelievable odds. I don't think it's going to come in. I think Jack's got enough in the tank. I think Jack's got the momentum behind him, and Prograis hasn't. But look at Prograis' losses as well, the performance he put up in them. I said to me lad, they mentioned the Taylor fight, I said, you were sitting in the front row with me for that, lad. And he looked at me and winked, he said, what a fucking fight, Dad. He said, probably one of the best fights I've seen live.
It was hour on TV, it was.
It was a brilliant fight. He didn't disgrace himself, and if he's still got it, 3-1 is ridiculous odds for Prograis, although I do think Jack's going to do the job.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Look, we wish you all the best. I know Steve's got a job to do as well.
We've got Steve on. I'm buzzing having him on this show. It's a big show for him. It's a good show. He's done a lot of tickets again. He's progressing nicely under my brother Stephen in the gym. Steve, the double act. But he's a lovely kid. He's a good kid. He's ABA champion. He's England international. He's been a very good amateur at the Rotunda.
Has he got his film crew with him yet?
No, I keep calling him a superstar. Time he's got his own film crew just to do his head in, because he couldn't be any more opposite, if you know what I mean. He's such a nice, humble lad.
Paul, appreciate your time.
Nice one, man. Thanks.